Hello everyone, welcome to LovegLew Creations, where we create and design for your inspiration. Let's wreath. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to pick the colors when you have a specific sign for your wreath. So this particular wreath has all the color remnants within this sign, and I'm going to talk about what I was thinking when I chose the colors for this wreath for the sign. Okay, so this is a better visual, a closer visual of the wreath that I just showed you. So one thing that I like to do is when I find a sign, I like to get it. If I see a sign I like, let's buy it. And then everything else will come into play later. So one of the things I noticed about this Santa sign was it was kind of a country look. It has the country wood look. It has the gingham red and white and black markings on this hat. It has the green hollyberry leaves as well. And I'm like, what can I use to make this sign pop? So I considered a lot of different things to try. So I wanted to match the country look. I added some burlap. I wanted to add the red mesh to bring out the red in the hat. And I also brought in some really cute red and green mesh that has this shiny green at the top. I thought that would make it pop as well, just to give it a little bit of pizzazz to the wreath itself. And then I considered the ribbon. So there is some black within the gingham. His eyes are black, and I thought, okay, and plus he's a Santa. So when I was looking for anything that may have represented Santa Claus. So I found this really, really cute Santa ribbon, and it's just got the bottom of him with his little pants and his boots. And then I found some really, really nice burlap ribbon that has this shiny snowflakes on it. And I thought, how perfect. So I want to show you exactly the materials that I used within this wreath. And then I'm going to show you another sign that I have that's similar to this and kind of show you what I'm thinking about in my creation for that next wreath. Okay, so I wanted to show you the different types of mesh styles that I used for this particular wreath. So the base of this wreath is a burlap jute mesh. This mesh is softer, it's easier to use as a base, and I used it as a poof method within the wreath form, and I'll show you what that is later. Then I also use these two types of mesh styles. Got these both from Craftex. I got this one from Walmart. So when you look at this one, this is really pretty. Like I said, it made the wreath pop. It has the special extra variety of color on each side, at each end of the mesh. And when you use this, I used a tube style method when I used it in the wreath. And then I also added this particular mesh. It's a drift border stripe mesh because it has the stripes on the end. And I used this one in a ruffle type format within the wreath as well. So using two types of styles within your wreath allows you to have that extra fullness within the wreath and brings out a different a pop within the wreath, and it makes it stand out. So then, considering the ribbon, like I said, I used two different types of ribbon, and this one was really, really cute. I believe I got this one from Walmart as well, either Walmart or Michael's. And you can see the little Santa feet and his the bottom of his Santa coat and his little black shoes, which I thought went really well with that country look that I'm looking for, and it has the burlap color within it as well. And then I also used, since it is, you know, Santa, we wanted to have some snow, and I used this really cute snowflake burlap ribbon as well, and the snowflakes sparkle with some glitter as well. So I thought that would add a special touch to the wreath. And keep in mind, you know, once you find the sign, if you haven't, you know, don't know what you're going to use yet in regards to how you're going to put it together and what part of your recipe that you want to use to make that wreath, hold on to that sign. I've had these signs for quite a while, and I'm kind of the person, if, you know, just give you an example, I like shoes, right? So I'm gonna buy the shoes and then worry about the clothes later. Everything will fall into place later. And I always get compliments on how do you match your clothes, and why do your shoes always match your clothes, and did you buy the shoes and buy the clothes, and vice versa? I buy the shoes first, I wait, I find the clothes later, so it all works out. Okay, so here is my next sign. So I have some variety over here to show you guys on what we can use, what we can consider to use for this sign. So the first thing you see, it's a country look. It's a little snowman. It says snow. He's got the hollyberry leaves. He's got a lot of black out on him as well. His little metal scarf. So what can we use? What can we do to bring this snowman to life? So here's some things to consider. One thing I didn't show you guys was my wreath form. So variety after variety after variety. So that sign allows us to use different types of colors of wreath form. I could go with the burlap color, I could go with the white, or I can go with the red. So it all depends on what you feel would be the best thing to use, because remember, these ties are going to stick through the wreath as you're making your wreath. So whichever one you pick, either one, it's going to go well with this sign. And you could also have used a black wreath form if you wanted to. So either or. So I think any one of these three would go really, really well with this sign. The next thing I want to show you is the different types of ribbon options that I considered for this sign. So we have a variety. And this is part of a wreath maker's dream, is to have options and options of ribbon to use. So one thing about Walmart, and I want to start with that, of course, this sign came from Walmart, so did the other sign. Walmart will provide ribbon that will coordinate with your signs. So I thought this would be really, really cute to use and add to my my wreath. I could use this, but I don't know if I really want to use black in this particular wreath. I do like this one though. I love the black and the red and the burlap color scheme on this ribbon. It's really, really pretty. So I could not use this and use this along with some other ribbon types as well. I have an all red and white snowflake ribbon. I have the burlap ribbon that I showed you in for the other wreath, but this one's thicker. This is a 2.5. So I have several sizes of ribbon that you can use. And then I have this variety as well. I already showed you this one. This one is really, really cute. I like that this one has the green on the border, and then it has the white snowflakes with the red kind of burlap look as well. And then this one I thought would really work really well. It's not all black, but it does have the black in it, and it has the snowman on it. So it'll go perfect with my snowman. It kind of has that country look also. So this is definitely something that we can use as ribbon for this particular wreath. And then I would use the drift border striped mesh, because of course it has the stripe on the end. I really like that. I would use the base of my my wreath for the jute burlap, but then I want to add a pop of white. So I figured I would use the snow drift mesh because it's a snowman, and I think it would be perfect and add to that country look with this wreath as well. So these would be my options and my ribbon options for this particular wreath, and we will see the finished product on this shortly. Which one am I going to pick? We shall see. Okay, so before we end this video and get to the end and show you the finished product, one thing I wanted to show you was how I applied the base to this wreath. So I did decide to use the white. I figured white would be cute. It's a snowman, why not use the white to pop through all of the mesh once I apply it to the wreath. But I'm gonna show you how to make the bubble method of the wreath, and this is going to be my base. So we'll start with applying and just crinkling at the end and tying that in right into the wreath form. Okay, and then we're going to measure 10 inches. So from 10 inches of this mesh, and then 10 inches, we're going to take that bubble and we're going to cinch it right there at that 10-inch mark. We're going to make this bubble right here, and we're going to add it into the next tie. And I'll just do one more to show you, and measure it from that tie to 10 inches. Make your bubble, cinch it, and tie it into your wreath form tie. That simple. And you continue to go around the entire wreath all the way up to the top, and you're going to have this bubble wreath form this wreath form with the bubble mesh in it, and it's going to look really, really pretty. From there, then you'll start applying the other mesh. Okay, so here's the finished product of me putting the base mesh on the wreath form. So what I did was, as I showed you earlier, I applied the mesh in 10-inch pieces, 10-inch bubbles on each tie. And as I went around the bottom of the wreath form, I then applied the same method on the top of the wreath form. So when I showed it to you earlier, we have two levels. We have a bottom level and we have a top level. So I applied the mesh all the way around the bottom and then worked my way all the way around the top, 10 inches in between each bubble. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the next types of mesh that I'm going to put into the wreath. So what I decided to do, I want the white to pop more than the red, since it's more of the snowman sign. So we want more white. So I'm going to use the snowdrift mesh, and I'm going to measure it at 20 inches. And one thing to keep in mind, I just need to let you know this as well, there are 18 ties on this wreath form. Most wreath forms, if not all, have 18 ties. So anytime you want to apply mesh or ribbon, you need to cut 18 pieces at a time. So we're going to start with the white mesh. I'm going to cut 18 pieces of the snowdrift mesh at 20 inches. So we'll do 18 of these. Same process, but now we're going to do it with the red, and we're going to cut the red in 15 inches because this one is going to be in our tube style. So I need 18 15-inch red mesh tube style. So for the white mesh, we're going to use the ruffle style, and you want to lay it with the curved side up, and you just want to cinch it right through the center, just like that. And then you get this really cute ruffle. And you're just going to tie it into your bottom tie. And you're going to do this all the way around with the white. And then, once you get the white in there, you're just going to wrap it around, and you got this really pretty ruffle. Then we're going to do the red the same way. And what you're going to do with the red is you're just going to make a tube. So all you're going to do is, it automatically wants to roll. You want to roll it both sides and then cinch it like that at the center, and you got this really pretty tube. And you're going to add that as well into the same tie as the white, and you're going to do that all the way around from top to bottom. And then they're going to come together just like that. And we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, so here's the finished product. I have added all of the mesh into the ties. One thing I like to do is make sure my ruffles are back to back. So we're going to fix our ruffles, make sure that they're back to back, and it kind of keeps it fluffy, and it makes the colors pop. Turn them around as needed, and make sure that they all go like back to back with each other. So I'll do that through the rest of the video, and we'll get back to the next part. Okay, so for the next step is to cut my ribbon. So I decided to use the snowflake with the burlap and the snowflake with the red. Since it is a snowman, want to add more snow, right? So one ribbon is going to be cut at 14 inches. My other piece is going to be cut at 13 inches. And then we're going to layer them on top of each other when we apply them to the wreath form. So let me finish cutting the ribbon, and I'll show you how to apply it. All right, real quick, I wanted to show you my ribbon cutting hack. So because there's 18 ties, I need 18 ribbon, 18 pieces. So for this one at the 14 inches, I cut one, I lay it on top of the rest of the roll, and then what I do is I just roll it for that one that's cut. So I'll roll it 18 times. And once I finish the roll, then at the 18 times, and I'll cut it straight through the top and straight through the bottom, and I have my 18 pieces. Instead of doing one ribbon, one piece at a time, we get them all done at one time. Okay, so Now that I've got all the ribbon cut and I made a ducktail on each one, I want to show you how to do that. So basically, what you're going to do is take the ribbon, bend it, and then cut straight up from the corner up. And once you cut it, you get a cute little ducktail. You do both sides. I'm going to make sure each side looks the same. And there you go. So now we have our cute ducktail. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to overlap both ribbon, and we're going to bend it in the center to get that center mark. From there, we cinch it in the center, and then we tie it into the tie right on top of the mesh that you just added. And you tie it in, and you fluff it outwards like that, and it folds out just like that. So we're going to do the entire wreath form. We're going to do 18 ribbons. We're going to do both sizes on each tie. So that's 2 sizes of ribbon, each cut 18 pieces. We're going to do one more just to make sure you got it. So we're taking them, put them on top of each other, fold them in the center, find that center mark, cinch it together, and then tie it into the wreath form. Like I said, right on top of your mesh, and fluff it out just like that. There you go, and it'll overlap each other and look really pretty. Okay, so now we have our finished product. So you can see the snowflakes popping through with the red mesh, as well as the burlap mesh coming through and the white mesh. It just looks really, really pretty, and it's gonna go really, really nice with our sign. So if we lay our sign on top, look how pretty that's gonna look. So we got our snowman with all of his snowflakes all around him. And we got the country look, we got the burlap that flows with the color within this part of the sign, and it looks really, really cute to me, and I love this country look. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how to apply the sign. All right, so we're going to use zip tie mounts, and I have one of my YouTube tutorials that shows you how to apply the zip tie mount. So we're going to do that on the sign. So just flip it over, cut off this tag. This piece right here, we don't need that. All right, make sure it's flush. Y'all don't mind my left-handed cutting. This is how left-handers cut. Okay. All right, so we're gonna apply a zip tie mount to the bottom as well as to the top. And what we do is peel off the sticker that's on the zip tie mount, put some glue, a dollop of glue, and just apply it at the bottom. Same thing for the top. Apply some glue. Here we go. All right, let it sit for a little bit. So next I'm gonna get my wire. This is just floral wire. It's a strong strength 24 gauge. And I get this, you can get this from anywhere, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, even Walmart. You want enough wire to thread through the thickness of the your wreath. So where are my wire cutters? All right. So one thing I like to do is I'm going to double my wire, take the top part, make a loop, and so I'll hold up to the camera, and I'm just going to thread it through the holes of the zip tie mount. Thread it through, make a quick little knot so it can be secure on there, and get it ready to go through your wreath form. Let's do the top. Probably could have used a longer piece. I'll do this one really long as well, just longer. I don't measure this, it's just kind of eye it on what you think or how long you think it needs to be. Loop it one time, make a loop at the top, cinch it together, and thread it through, just like that. Just like a needle. There you go, pull it through, and make a knot. Let's make it even. I did it. Make it even on both sides. So let's do that again. Okay, there we go. Got my top ready and my little needle. So thread it through. There we go. This time it's right. All right. Make sure it's even. Make our knot. And let's get ready to tie it through. All right, so we got the sign ready to go. So as you remember, we got the wire ready to go through. So what I'm gonna do is just thread it through, weave it through the wreath form. So it's real easy. Find a hole and thread it through. Find a hole and thread it through. Okay. All right, here we go. A lot of mesh up in there, you guys. A lot of mesh and ribbon, so you got to really work with it. All right, so we got that through the bottom, the top, and we're going to do the same through the bottom, thread it through. All right, so sometimes you really got to work with it. You want to get it around the actual frame of the wreath form itself. There you go, and that way you'll be able to really tie it around. So let's turn it over. There we go. So let's start with the top. So I always like to make sure I get it around the wreath form itself. Make sure it's around the frame itself. So do the same thing, knot it, and tie it through. And you don't want to get it too tight because it'll push the sign too far into. You want it sitting right on top for this particular one. Now some signs you do want them to go all the way, stick through, but this one I want it on top. All right, so once you get it where you want it, just kind of work with it. Do what you got to do to get that wire around the frame. Okay. So just continue to wrap it around and around and around, and then whatever excess you have, you can cut it off. So I just want to get it secure on there. And I'm going to cut this excess off and then continue to wrap it around a little bit more, but that's just too much. Let's keep going. I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom. All right, everyone, let's see what it looks like. Ta-da! How cute is that? It turned out really cute. And the whole purpose of this video was just to show you what you can do when you work from the sign out. So you find your sign, then you find your ingredients. And there is our cute little mesh snowman ready for your front door or wherever in your house. So some people will put a big bow on it, and you can add a bow using the same ribbon just to kind of add a little bit more poof to it. I think it looks perfect just like this. I don't think we need to add anything else to it. Just clean up a little bit, fluff out your ribbons, make sure they're bowed out, fluff out any mesh that's kind of stuck under, and make sure that he's surrounded by all this wonderful mesh goodness and ribbons. So there you go. Okay, so here's our finished product, you guys. Like and subscribe, and thanks for wreathing with me.